Hi, Tim Horschler with another version of Tim Talks, and today we're going to put together your new Symphony spinning wheel. Follow along with your written instructions, but use the videos as we go through the various steps to help you answer any questions that you might have. The first thing we want to do is lubricate the two threaded pieces that you have here with the Symphony, and it's a matter of taking candle wax or paraffin and simply going over the threads and putting a coat of wax on the threads for lubrication. The Symphony bench here comes with the two front legs and the treadles already assembled. You just need to put on the rear leg here and with a mallet or a hammer drive it all the way up inside. Make sure that your legs, your treadles, rotate, swing easily, and you're all set. Okay, now we want to put on the two wheel posts onto the bench, the two large holes on this end. On the bottom of the post you'll find a round hole. You put in a barrel nut at this location, slide it in there with the slot showing out, and then you're going to put your hardware in, and the hardware comes from underneath into the end of the post, and make it snug because you're going to need to rotate these in a few minutes to adjust the location or the angle of the wheel. Now we're around to the mother of all end of the bench, and we're going to install the parts that hold the mother of all base. This little pedestal, you put the threaded part up through it. It sits down in a recess here on the bench, and then your threading adjusting screw comes in through the end. And just get that in there. And this threading screw must be held in place with this small wooden peg, and it comes in from the bottom, and there's a recess part here that it fits in on the threaded adjusting screw, and make sure it's up there and secure, so when this turns, this part moves, as opposed to if this pin was not in, just the threading screw would turn and nothing would move here. And now we're ready to mount the base of the mother of all. Okay, well now we've got your mother of all base, the two Maidens up here. We do suggest that these leather bearings that hold the flyer, that you saturate those in oil first. Just 30 weight oil using your lawnmower, it's fine. They'll turn dark brown. This mounts on top. And let me also mention you got your eye hooks in here now. We've screwed those on, and we've opened them up just a little bit so we can get that brake band and spring on easily. And it goes on like this and secured in place with a round piece, and we can just put that on here loose right now. And now we're ready to mount the wheel and the flyer to the frame here. Before you put your flyer and wheel on, you want to take your drive band and put it down between the two posts and over the top of the front Maiden here and get it in place so you don't have to remove anything or tie it in place when you put the wheel and the flyer on. Okay, we positioned the wheel on the top of the two wheel posts. There's a brass bushing on the back side where the crank is. That sits down in the slot. On the front side you have another brass bushing that you need to slide onto the axle here. There are slots on that bushing, and what you're going to do is take two wooden pegs, and from either side you want to run those pegs through the top of the hole here and secure the brass bushing in place, front and back. Okay, now we've got your flyer here, which is this U-shaped piece, bobbin on it, and a large whirl here. Reverse thread, put it on, and you're ready to mount the flyer onto the front and rear Maidens here. You want to get your drive band up and over the flyer. Just place it there for now, and the front snaps in place on that bushing. The back slides in place, and we're ready to put the drive band up over the wheel and put a little tension on it. Okay, now we've got the back here, the crank showing here. We want to attach our two footmen. They look very similar, but you'll notice that one has a large hole and one has a small hole here at the top. The small hole goes on to the U-shaped portion of the crank here. The one with the large hole will go on the back one, which has the brass bushing. Simply release the screw up here, pull these apart gently and slide them onto the crank, and then push them together and secure the screw. The one with the small hole here has to swing easily on the crank, so don't over tighten it. Get those on and then we'll tie the footman at the treadle. Okay, we're down here at the treadle and the bottom of the footman. There's any number of ways to tie a footman. We have a video online that shows you how to do it or how we suggest to do it. But what I like to do is here at the bottom is I tie a square knot, and I'm going to take that knot and pull it into the single larger hole here. And this is going to act as a cushion and connector for us. And you don't want any looseness down here any more than you need to. And then I take the other ends, pull them up through the other two holes, and I'm going to tie a little fancy bow here just to secure it. Over time you may need to retighten these, just follow that process, but you've got a connection down here now that is very secure. It isn't wobbly, doesn't make any noise. So go ahead and tie a bow here. You've got fancy caps that go on the top of the wheel post. Slide those down in place. One for the front, one for the rear, and center them up. You've got a small wooden peg. Hope you can see it here. This is what you use to keep your extra whirl stored. It goes back here, and this holds that in place. And now we have the threading hook, and you can place it here. And back over at the flyer end, we've got to put on our optional Scotch tension brake band. If you're going to use the wheel in the double drive setup, you want to at least put this on and store it underneath, so when you might want to try it single drive, you'll have it available. We've got a brake band, a spring on this end, and a wooden peg. And the spring goes here on the back side on the eye hook. Typically it would go over the bobbin pulley up here to this eye hook, and you would secure the adjusting peg up here. And if you're not going to use it, simply disengage the hook here in the back, and you can just put it over the top of the mother of all. Wind your slack up here. And it's ready, but out of place. So it's not gonna interfere with your normal spinning. Now let's align the spinning wheel to the flyer and tighten down the wheel posts. Okay, we've got the wheel all put together, but we've just mounted the wheel on the post. We haven't done anything to really adjust it, align it the way it's supposed to be. If you use your wheel without adjusting it, chances are you're going to have poor tracking of the drive band. What you want to do is look at this now. You can see that the alignment of the wheel over here to the flyer, and more accurately the space between the end of the bobbin and the whirl, they don't quite line up middle to middle here. And the way you can control that and adjust that is simply grab both wheel posts, and we're going to twist them. And even here, I think from this distance you can see that wheel moving. And what we're going to do is give you a close-up of that and watch how this drive band tracks more to the middle, which is where we want it, and then we'll tighten up the bolts underneath the bench that hold the post to the bench. So let's do that now. Okay, just look right over the top of the post here down to where the bobbin and the whirl are, and you can pretty much know that we're going to have to twist this in this particular direction, and just rotate the wheel a little bit more and see how that drive band tracks. And that is looking good. It's tracking good. I can look right over the top here and see the middle space down here. And with that wheel the way it is, you want to go underneath the bench and tighten up the wheel posts. And with the post tightened up now, that drive band tracks very nicely, and you shouldn't have to make this adjustment again unless you some reason hit this wheel or take things apart. The last piece to assemble is your arch lazy gate that comes with the Symphony. This is a tension lazy gate. The idea is that as you're applying, you want the brake band here to retard the rotation of the bobbins so they don't keep rolling when you stop. You've got your peg up here in front. The brake band goes over the top of the bobbin pulleys. We suggest you use the large pulley when possible, and then around back here another eye hook with a spring on it. These parts just push together. You could glue these here if you like, as well up here, glue these points, but the peg has to be able to rotate, and you pull these rods out when you want to replace the bobbins. But a good way to ply, this will hold 3 bobbins in total, and it works with a lot of other bobbins from other manufacturers as well. Okay, we put the wheel together. Let me just mention a couple of points of lubrication for you. Over here on the axle of the wheel, the brass bushings, we'll put some oil there. You can also oil where the cranks connect to the footman here in the back. Over here at the flyer, these leathers again should be saturated, and each time you sit down to spin, put 3 or 4 drops of oil on them. Front and rear, the bobbin rotates on a metal spindle. It's good to lubricate the front and the back end of that spindle where the bushings on the bobbin rotate, just to make sure your bobbin is going around easily. And down here where the treadle rail goes through the legs, there's a little bushing there. You can put a drop there occasionally. It's not needed on a frequent basis. So lubricate your flyer, keep it lubricated. Lubricate your axles over here and your footman here in the back, and you're all set to go. Little maintenance on a wheel, aligning things, keeping them straight. Make sure that your footmen or your maidens here, the leathers are parallel front and back so that they hold the flyer securely. The wheel obviously goes around, and you're in business. An excellent wheel, one of my favorites. It's certainly architecturally a very, very attractive, traditional looking wheel. Thanks for purchasing the Symphony. Look online for our other videos that talks about day-to-day things that you can do to improve your spinning. Thanks a lot. This is Tim for Tim Talks and New Voyager Trading.